Welcome back to Alive and Well Community's Daily Dose, your daily dose of support. After such a big interest in yoga from last week, we decided that moving forward, we're going to make Sundays our yoga Sundays to help you integrate yoga into your self practice and into your self care. So, joining us today to lead us off on this week's yoga session, we have Elle. And Elle is an ambassador with Alive and Well Communities. In addition, Elle is also the founder of Yoga Buzz, which is a trauma informed yoga community. And so, Elle, thank you so much for joining us today and for leading us in another beginner session of yoga to help us integrate this into our daily practice.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sean, so much for having me, allowing me the opportunity to come and share. We've been doing a lot of online classes on Yoga Buzz's internets as well. And, everybody's trying to figure out how to adapt their life to
Yeah.
this new norm, right? And yoga teachers everywhere across the world really have been creating sort of makeshift home studios to be able to share the practice with anybody.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I'm really going to turn it over to you to lead us in some beginner's yoga, and I'm going to be following along.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad that you are joining to take the opportunity to take care of yourself and your body and your mind, move with the breath and that sort of a thing. Like Sean said, my name is Elle, and I am the founder of Yoga Buzz. We're a nonprofit here in St. Louis, and our mission is, among many things, accessibility and really advocating for trauma-informed practices within the yoga world. So today, what I thought we would do is we'd spend some time with a couple different breath practices. The breath is really this direct link into helping to integrate and connect with our central nervous system. So when we are in a place of stress, the fight or flight response, which many of us may be experiencing that a lot lately, the breath can be a way to help to self-soothe, to help to tap into more of the rest and digest system, which helps to recover from times of stress. So I could get into the nerdy science of it, but let's just do the yoga and then we can talk about that all later. So to begin, as far as the yoga practice goes, as far as the movement that we'll do, really you just need some space on your floor. You don't need a mat if you don't have one. You don't need blocks if you don't have them. You don't really need anything but yourself and clothes that are comfortable to move around in. You also might enjoy doing some of this with a chair. So I'm going to start using a little bench that I've got for myself here for the breath practices, and then you might like to have that nearby for the poses as well, but I'll leave that up to you. Take care of yourself, and let's start. So I'm going to sit down on my little bench here to start. You're welcome to sit on the floor or on your couch or sit in your bed. You can also lay down if you'd like. And what I'd like to introduce you to is a breath practice that's sometimes called square breathing. So it's essentially creating an even length of time for your inhales, for a pause at the top of your inhales, the exhale, and then a pause at the end of your exhale. So let's start out trying this square breath or box breath with just the count of 1. So we'll inhale 1, pause 1, exhale 1, pause 1. Okay, so that's the general gist of it here. So then you can add on to that. You can say inhale for 2, pause 2, exhale 2, pause 2. You can even build on from that. You could do 3, you could do 4, whatever you'd like to do here. So let's try a few rounds of this. I'll count to 3 here. If you'd like to do it a little bit longer, then do your own count. So inhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. And another round, and I'll stop counting, so do this on your own. One more time. Then as you complete that round of breath, let the breath return to its own pace. And notice if you notice anything as a result of that practice. Notice also in reflecting if any part of the breath, any part of those 4 parts of the breath was more challenging or more uncomfortable, and parts of that maybe felt good. And bring your gaze somewhere forward and down of you. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Sit in a comfortable way. And take a few full deep breaths here. Take and shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and then down and back. Just a little bit of movement through the shoulders there. You can roll the head from side to side, stretch through the neck. And then let that go, and again, rest in stillness. Notice how you're feeling in your body today. Notice how you're feeling from an emotional standpoint. There's a lot that's present for us now. So just notice. Try to do the noticing without passing judgment or even trying to put labels on what it is that you notice. Emotions are things that we feel very physically. And part of the reason why a somatic practice, a physical practice like yoga can be so beneficial for helping to process and heal and recover and increase our resiliency is because we get a chance to feel our bodies move in ways that perhaps feels good after times of not feeling good. Take and bring one hand to your belly and the other hand to the front of your heart. And without changing anything about the way that you're breathing, notice how the breath moves in the body here. Do you feel the chest rising into the hand there, or do you feel the belly expanding into the hand on your belly? And again, it just becomes a practice of noticing without necessarily changing anything, unless we decide to change something, and then we have the agency to do so in this practice. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And release your hands to your lap. Blink open your eyes if they're closed. Take a moment to look around your space. Look into the 4 corners of your field of vision. Take in the world around you. This all kind of looks relatively well put together, but I can assure you what's on the other side of my camera phone is not so well put together. So can you look around with just appreciation for the space that you have and without making a list of the things that you could be doing after this? All right, and then let's start to bring in some movement. So you're welcome to stay in a chair if you'd like, or if you'd rather sit on the floor, that's an option. We can do what we're about to do either way. Take and extend your arms up overhead, lift up through the fingertips. Then bring the palms together to touch, draw your thumbs to your heart. Then I'll give the invitation to add breath with your movement. And it's up to you how you breathe, because you should breathe no matter what anybody tells you, right? So inhale, take the arms up high. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, take the arms overhead, and this time take and place your left hand on the ground or on the side of your chair. Lift up through the right fingertips, and then tilt to the left. And breathe into the right side of the body. Take one more full breath here. Make more space between your right hip and your right shoulder. And then on an inhale, come back up through the center, stretch both arms high. Exhale, take your right hand down to the ground or to the side of your seat. Extend up through the left fingertips and then tilt to the other side. And again, send a breath into the left side of the torso here. One more breath here. Inhale up through the center, take both arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take and bring your hands to the top of your thighs. Slide your hands back towards your hips so your elbows point back behind you. Lift up through the chest, maybe even tilt your chin up slightly. Then draw your chin to your chest, slide your hands down towards your knees, really round through the back. Then again, you can add breath here. Inhale, slide the hands towards the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, chin to the chest, round through the spine. 2 more times here with your breath. Come up to a neutral spine here and pause. Inhale, take both arms up overhead. Exhale, turn to the right. Take your right hand behind you, left hand to one of your legs. You can choose which one you go for here. Sit tall through your spine. So resist the urge to really crank yourself into a rotation through the spine. Lengthen, lift up through the heart. Draw your chin back slightly so that you keep a lift to your chest rather than rounding through the spine here. Take another breath. Then keep your left hand where it is. Sweep your right hand across to the opposite leg so you cross at the elbows. Round through your spine. Take a few breaths into the space between your shoulder blades. So see if you can expand the back as you inhale. Take a full exhalation here. Inhale, take the arms up overhead, uncross them. And exhale, turn to the left. Left hand goes behind you, right hand to either of the legs. Start by lifting up through the crown of your head. Sit tall through your spine. Draw your chin back. And notice if you take your chin forward, your head forward, it'll round your spine. So what happens if you take your head back? Does that create a lift? Then keep your right hand as it is. Sweep your left arm now across. Cross at the elbows, draw your chin into your chest. And again, send the breath into the back of the body. Take one more full exhale here. Inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, uncross at the wrists. Exhale, release the arms by your sides. All right, so let's come up to standing. If you're seated on the ground, whatever way makes sense for you to get up to standing, I'll meet you there. from standing, find a comfortable way to stand. So take and separate your feet about hip distance apart, or perhaps wider if that feels better. Take your arms by your sides. Turn the palms to face forward so that your shoulders roll back. Take an inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Let's do 3 rounds of that box breathing here. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Pause, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Pause, 2, 3. Exhale, pause. One more time. And let that breath fall away. Take an inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, take and reach your arms up overhead. I'll turn sideways so you can see what we're doing. Exhale, little bend to the knees as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. So pause with the palms of the hands in the front of your thighs as you breathe here. Draw your shoulder blades together so you're strong through the upper back. Extend forward through the crown of the head. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Extend your arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And once more, inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Pause here for a moment. Press your hands against one another. Lift your chest up towards your thumbs. Deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Release your arms by your sides. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. From here, take and separate your feet wider than your hips. Bring a generous bend into your knees. You can brace your forearms to the tops of your thighs for your forward fold here, or let your arms hang freely. Or if you've got a chair nearby, you can rest your hands on your chair or a bench. If you have blocks or anything that makes the ground seem less far away, you can rest your hands there too. And then here in your forward fold, keep a bend to your knees so there's no strain in your low back. You can sway from side to side. See if you can relax your neck and shoulders more. Gently nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Shrug your shoulders like, I don't know. And take and lift yourself up halfway. Bring your hands to the front of your thighs. Draw the shoulder blades together. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold forward. From here, take and step your left leg back behind you so you come into a lunge. Balance on the ball of the left foot. Take your hands to the top of the right thigh and lift yourself up. So here, reach your hips forward and down. Press down into your right heel. And then as if you're trying to press your right heel down and drag it back simultaneously. Notice how that changes the engagement in your legs. So you're welcome to stay here or take one or both arms up overhead. This is crescent lunge. Reach through both legs equally. Take a big inhale. And exhale, take your hands to your hips. Keep your right hand at your right hip. Stretch your left arm up. And then here, keep pressing equally through both feet. Tilt your left hand to the right. So you're going to be stretching through the left side here. Take another breath. Come back up through the center. Left hand to the hip. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. Ooh. That was a long time to be lunging in that front leg. You're welcome. Step your right leg back now. Balance on the ball of your right foot. Left knee over the left ankle as best as you can manage. Let's start with hands at the front, or the top of the front thigh. So you'll tilt forward slightly here. Press your hips forward and down. Press your left heel down and as if you're trying to drag it back so your leg is super engaged. Then stay here with your chest lifted or take one or both arms up overhead. So here, can you reach equally out through both legs? Can you reach equally out through both arms? So you're stretching and pulling your body in two different directions, down through the hips and up through the fingertips. But stay connected to your breath. Take your hands to your hips. Keep your left hand at your left hip, right arm up to the sky, and then start to stretch to the left. So when we're tense, when the fight or flight response kicks in, oftentimes it shortens the front of the hip flexor, the psoas, because that's our body wanting to run or to curl up and protect ourselves, right? Come back up through the center, take your right hand to your hip, and step forward with your right foot. So stretching across the front of the hip can be a nice way to try to help also to stimulate the relaxation response in the body. Or you might just find that you're super tight there because of tension or stress. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. And pause for a moment here. Take your hands down by your sides, and let's just come down to seated again. Let's go onto the ground for this one. So I like to sit up on a little bit of something for my hips to help to create a neutral tilt to my pelvis so that when I sit down, my spine doesn't round. So you might like to fold up a blanket to put underneath you here. And then we'll take and stretch both legs forward. With both legs stretched out, then take and bend your right knee and open your right knee out to the side. So the sole of your right foot comes to the inner line of the left leg. Now, it might also feel nice to fold up a blanket or a pillow, or if you have a block, to put it underneath the outside of that bent knee to help release any tension or holding on through the hip for this next pose that we'll do here. Get a bit of an angle here for you. Take your fingertips by your sides to start, by the sides of your hips, into the ground, lift up through your chest. Take a big breath here. Then you're welcome to stay here. If this is enough of a stretch through the back of this extended leg, stay. You can also start to walk your hands forward and just notice how when you walk your hands forward, it changes the stretch in your leg, right? You can soften your chin towards your chest so that it becomes more passive for the upper body. And then this is a nice place, a good place to practice staying within your window of tolerance, right, in a yoga pose. Because you know you've gone too far. You know the pose is unsustainable if you try really hard to go somewhere very dramatic and big in a yoga pose and you lose connection with your breath. So if you find that it's harder to breathe in your forward fold, then walk your hands back until you're able to still maintain deep breaths. The body tells us when it needs to step back, right? Body also sometimes asks us to go a little further into something. Yoga practice is a great place to start to learn how to translate the language of your body so that your mind can understand what it's trying to say. Okay, and then from here, walk your hands up towards your hips, lift up through your chest. Take a moment here to breathe. And then take and slide your right leg out, and we'll switch sides. So bend your left knee. Left knee opens out to the side. You can choose where your left foot goes. It can just be resting towards your calf. It can come up towards your knee. Whatever, again, is sustainable for your body. I, once again, like to use this block or a pillow to stick to the outside of my bent leg. So let's start with fingertips on the ground. Lift up through your chest. And then choose where you go from here. You can soften your chin to your chest, you can walk your hands forward. But again, find a point where you're able to stay connected to your breath. With your next exhale, see if you can relax the body a bit more. Just like maybe 10% more. Relax your jaw, relax the muscles in your face. Let's take one more breath here. And walk your hands up by your hips. Lift yourself upright. Take and stretch your left leg out now. Check my time. Perfect. And let's come into a comfortable seat to end our practice today. So again, you can sit up on something, or if you prefer to lay down, then lay down. That's perfect. So whether you're laying down or whether you're sitting up, take a moment to make yourself comfortable. And then wherever you are, take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And again, feel for the movement of your breath in your body. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. And as you inhale, imagine the breath moving into your belly. So much breath moving into your belly, in fact, that your belly expands with your breath. So inhale and either feel or imagine your belly expanding with your breath in. And then exhale, feel the navel draw in towards the spine, the breath pressing out from the body as the belly draws in. Twice more like that. Inhaling into the belly, really pulling the breath all the way down. And exhaling, expelling the breath from the base of the belly. One more breath. And then let your breath move on its own to its own natural rhythm. You can release your arms to your hands to your lap or your arms by your side if you're laying down. If you keep your eyes open, find one point to focus your attention, your gaze. Or perhaps try closing your eyes halfway like you just woke up and the light's too bright. Or close your eyes altogether. If you find your mind wandering off at any point, just gently acknowledge that it's happened and invite your attention back to witness the movement of your breath. We'll stay here for 2 minutes in silence, and I'll bring you back when that time is done. But take a moment to notice your surroundings here without changing anything about you or your body. Feel the temperature of the air as you inhale. Notice any sounds that you hear of the world around you. Notice the light. Notice the texture of wherever your hands are resting, whatever they're touching. And then begin to deepen your breath. Bring little flickers of movement into your fingers and your toes. Feeling out into the periphery of your body. If you're laying down, bend your knees and place your feet onto the earth. Roll onto either side and then press yourself up to seated. Once in seated, bring hands to heart center. You can do palms pressing or stack your hands over your heart or any other gesture that's meaningful to you today to end your practice. Bow your chin to your chest, just honoring yourself for taking time to take care of you. When we're in the midst of crisis, whether it's personal or international, it's just as important as ever to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we can better show up for one another, especially for those of us who are caregivers. Your well-being is incredibly important right now. Thank you so much for making some time to move and breathe and just join together as a community. And Sean, thank you so much for this chance to do yoga on the internet.
Thank you so much, Elle, for guiding us through that. And I don't know about you all, but I feel much more present in my environment, much more relaxed and ready to conquer the day. So Elle, thank you so very much. And again, tune into Yoga Buzz to find additional online classes and learning opportunities to enhance your yoga practice, recognizing that this is a journey for us taking excellent care of ourselves. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Part of your daily challenge is to find some time to engage in movement and mindfulness today to really help yourself be present during this somewhat overwhelming time that's going on, but making time and space for you. And again, Elle, thank you so much for joining us. Please tune back in tomorrow as we talk with a family and marriage therapist about relationships during this time. So we're excited to have you back. And again, remember to share this daily dose with someone you know who can use a daily dose of support. Take care until tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.